Hi guys, welcome back. It's Mr. Muhammad Mutwalli. I miss you so much. Again, back to our science lessons. We will start with the lesson number 1 of chapter 6, which is talking about Earth's patterns. Today's lesson is about water cycle. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I will show you more information about water cycle so it will be easy to understand each part of our lesson. So we will take the first slide, which is about what is the water cycle. In this slide you will see a picture which represents a place that contains water. So the question is, what do you think there is water in this picture? What do you think? There is water in this picture? Yes, excellent. The water behind the parent and his son inside the sea. Yes, sea contains water. You know that water is found everywhere inside sea and ocean and lake and glacier and river. Everywhere you can find water. Water can represent third forces from the earth's surface. Not all the water can be drinkable, so it will be salty in the ocean, and maybe you found water in the form of frozen in the glacier. Only 1% of the water earth is drinkable, so you have to know this information. And turning to the next slide, which is the video about water cycle, so you can watch the video to know more about the water cycle and our today's lesson. So enjoy the watching and come back again.
What do puddles, rain, and clouds all have in common? They are all part of the water cycle. Have you ever noticed when it rains, puddles of water form on the ground? But when the sun comes out, they slowly go away. Where does the water go? The water in the puddles evaporates. Evaporate means to change from a liquid to a gas. The heat from the sun changed the liquid water into water vapor. Water moves into the air as a gas when it evaporates. Water that is a gas is called water vapor. You cannot see water vapor, but it is all around you. As water vapor cools, it changes into tiny drops of water and ice. This forms clouds. The drops of water in the clouds join together until they are so heavy they fall to earth as rain, snow, sleet, or hail. This water collects on the ground in rivers, lakes, and of course, puddles. Then the sun comes out and the water cycle starts again. Got it? Sure you do.
Here in the video, it's clear now to understand more about water cycle. The water cycle contains many processes. So before we go inside the water cycle and explain and take a summary about the water cycle, I want to show you an activity about tracing the water cycle at the virtual lab. Here you can follow a drop of water, and the drop of water will talk about itself. You can follow the drop of water to know more about the rock cycle, the water cycle, the water cycle, and to guess and know the trace of the water cycle, what the water cycle contains inside. You are investigating which it has traveled farther, you or a particle of water. Complete the lab to follow the particle of water as it changes from form and location. Here in the ecosystem like this, we can follow the water drops and know more about the water cycle and the process inside the water cycle. So this is the activity. Here is a drop. The drop can move or transfer from one place to another place according to the process that take place on. So the water drop will talk about itself and give us clue to be followed. So the first clue here about the drop of water, we didn't know where is the drop of water right now, so we can follow the clues to understand what is the location of the water drop. So the first clue tell us about the drop, that the drop said, I just evaporated from the ocean. So if you look down here, you will find an ocean. So I think the drop will be here. So we can press yes, correct. This is the first clue about the water drop here. So we can looking for what the location of this drop will be next. So if we press next here, it will give us a clue about itself. The wind blew me to colder lands in the north, then I condensed it to form part of snow cloud above the mountains. Above the mountains. Where are the mountains? There are 3 mountains. Which one is the correct one here? I get there. So I can press here and guess what? Yes, of course, that's true. Yes, next to another clue. I fell through the air as part of a snowflake. So the snowflake here, where I think there. So that's correct. Next clue. I fell onto a large snowpack in the mountains. Over time, this snowpack formed an icy glacier. An icy glacier, when the drop falls from the icy mountain or snowy mountain, it can be there. We can guess here. Yes, that's right. Next to another clue here to follow the trace of the drop of water. Next, I melted and flowed downstream to a lake on a sunny day in the spring. I evaporated again. Evaporated. Look at this word. Evaporated and melted. We will know together what does it mean here. Evaporated and melted. If we follow the drop of water, so the next clue tells us the drop of water will be melted and flow downstream to a lake on a sunny day. So guess what? When this drop of water falls down here in the ocean, I guess it will be there. No. There? Yes. So it will be melted here and go inside the lake. So returning to another clue about the drop of water. After floating, the drop of water here is talking about itself and give us another clue, which is after floating around the air as a gas for a while, I formed a part of rain cloud. Rain cloud. In the picture here, what do you think? Where is the rain cloud? Here's 2 drops in above. Inside the rain cloud 1 drop, and above the rain cloud the 1 drop also. So check here. No, it can be there. Yes, so it will be also evaporated again and go up in the form of a gas. So next clue is then I fell through the air as a raindrop. Through the air as a raindrop. Here we can look for this here. Yes, that's correct. Next one here. I landed in a forest, then I ran off into a stream which led to a large river. I landed in the forest, then I ran off into a stream which led to a river. Yes. No, it's not here. Try again. Yes, that's true. Again, another clue is next. A forest animal drank me out of the river. I became a gas again when it breathed me out of its body. So it will be right here. The next clue you can choose. Winds blew me from the forest to the grassland. One clear summer morning I condensed. Focus with this word. Don't forget, we talk, evaporate, and melted and condense. Here's the terminology about the process of the water cycle. So I condense it as a dew in a grassy field. Like this? Yes, of course, that's true. Next clue is then I was absorbed by soil into the ground and I become a part of groundwater, so it will be stored inside the ground here in the soil. So that's it of our activity, to be clearly to understand what are the process of the water cycle, and we will know more about the water cycle and its process. It will explain you the process inside the water cycle. If you can read with me here and focus more and more, the movement of water from earth's surface into the air and back again, we can call it water cycle. So the water cycle is the movement of water from earth's surface into the air and back again. So as water changes states as it moves through the water cycle, like we said, like we fold the drop of the water. So the drop of water changes the states. State here means the form, its form. The drop of water changes its form as it moves through the water cycle. The water cycle has 4 parts. The 4 parts here are represented in the form of evaporation, again, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and storage. Yes, these arrows represent the 4 stages or the 4 parts that can form the water cycle. So if the arrow look upward here, it represents evaporation. So when the sun warms the water will be evaporated. So evaporation, the arrow must look upward. So then condensation, the condensation is when the vapor of the water go up to the clouds, it will be condensed to stay for a while. After that it will be precipitated. The throw of the arrow here look downward to the ground to represent precipitation. Then the water of the rain fall into the earth and go directly inside the soil and can be stored inside river or lake. Here is the 4 parts of the water cycle and its full definition. You can look here to see more about the evaporation. So evaporation is when the sun warms causes water on Earth's surface to evaporate. So evaporation here means the change from liquid water to vapor water or a gas, and the arrow represents the process which looks at upward, like I said. We can turn to another point or another part of the water cycle, which is condensation. Water vapor rises into the air and cools. As it cools, the water vapor changes into tiny water droplets. Again, water vapor rises into the air and cools. As it cools, the water vapor changes into tiny water droplets. This change from a gas into a liquid is called condensation. So condensation is the change of a gas into a liquid. So water droplets form clouds. In the condensation process or part of the water cycle, you have to know that the water droplets form clouds. Turning to another part is precipitation, which is represented by arrow looking downward, down to the earth. Water particles in the clouds can join together. When they join together, they become heavy. They will fall because they are heavy right now. They need to be stable on the earth's ground. So they fall on the earth as rain, in the form of rain, maybe in the form of snow, sleet, or hail. Water that falls to earth is called precipitation. Turning to the last part of the water cycle, here is the storage. In storage, the arrow here represents the flow of the water after it falls on the ground. They can store when they fall and flow in the ground. So precipitation, called runoff, flows over the land and collects in streams, lakes, and the ocean. The water cycle begins again. So any cycle, it can form again and more than one time, because there will be changes in the form of the water, so it can be repeated again and again. Turning to another slide of our new lesson is the quiz. Here's the quiz. You can start the quiz and answer all of this question. By pressing to choose here, you can choose one of these choices to represent the perfect or the correct, or to complete the statement and give us the correct answer.